Hey, what's going on, guys? Finally done with all of my crazy traveling escapades, done with the life craziness, and finally getting back to a regular routine of putting out consistent weekly YouTube content. So today in this video, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about numbers. So, numbers. I hear a lot of people often who work in creative industries, kind of like mine, who will have sentiments such as, it doesn't really matter how much money you make or how many followers you have or how popular you get on a platform. What matters is that you love what you do and that you continue to grow as an artist, as a creator, and continue to put out, quality content to people. And I see where a lot of these people are coming from, and I resonate with a lot of these sentiments, as I'll get into later on in the video. But to simply say that numbers just straight up don't matter in a kind of creative industry, I really think you'd be lying to yourself. And I had a couple thoughts about that I wanted to share today and talk about why I believe ultimately the numbers do matter, even if your ultimate goal is not so necessarily numerically based. So, first and foremost, whatever you're doing needs to be sustainable. Anything you want to keep doing across a long period of time, you have to have the means in order to keep doing it. And that means either what you're doing has to be making you money, or you have to be making enough money somewhere else or receiving money enough somewhere else that you can afford to keep doing it, maybe like a high-end hobby. When you get down to it, it tends to cost a certain amount of money or quantifiable leverage, if I want to get fancy, in order just to keep things going. Like, I wouldn't be doing voiceover at the scale I am now if I wasn't able to keep the lights on and if voiceover wasn't helping me to do that. One of the things I also like to do at the end of every single month is I'll sit down with a spreadsheet and manually plot out all of the different expenses that I had for the month, as well as all the jobs that I did, so I can get a sense that I'm not overspending what I'm making and that I'm making sure that I'm living within the means of what the work that I'm doing is providing me to live within. It's a bit tedious at times, sure, but it certainly grounds me and helps me make sure that whatever I'm doing that I love to do continues to stay realistic across time. Second point that I want to make is that while you may not be about the numbers will help you to scale up what you're doing at any level. Like, I love making YouTube videos, and I would probably still do this to some degree even if nobody was really tuning into it. But if I want to grow as a YouTuber, if I want to continue to up the production value of whatever I'm doing, if I want to be able to collaborate with other YouTubers, if I want to continue to, push the limits of what my software and hardware can do in order to produce good content for you guys, then it really helps to have some numbers on my side. Because when I'm talking about numbers, what I'm really talking about is leverage. Whether it's money, whether it's views, whether it's subscribers, followers, ranks and searches, the number of accolades that you have. The more you have of that stuff, the more you're able to leverage it in order to get to things that you want to get to. Like, you might be a great voice actor, you might put out fantastic YouTube content, you might be a great musician, but people are going to be a lot more willing to give you the time of day when you actually have a certain follower count, when you're actually getting some views on things, when you can actually look at the analytics and say, okay, not only is this quality material, but it's quality material that people are actually tuning into, and people are going to continue to tune into technically for the foreseeable future. So anyone who wants to take a creative endeavor and expand it and get it to more eyes should always have at least some concern about how many people are watching what you're doing, how many followers you're getting, how you're showing up in analytics and whatnot and the like. And the last point I want to make today about numbers is that people are inherently work-oriented and, by proxy, goal-oriented. I really believe that at our core, human beings are designed to work. If not for money or, in an industry, we're designed to work for the betterment of our family. We work for charities. We like to create and build and move things forward and have things that we're doing, have things that we've completed that give us a sense of purpose in this world. Like, you look at your life and wherever you're at, chances are there's something that you'd like to work toward and have at least a loose plan of what it would take in order to make things happen there. And furthermore, one of the best ways to make your goals more achievable is to make them measurable. And it's often easier to measure things when they're quantifiable. So, like saying, I want to be a better voice actor, or I want to appear in such and such sort of production is great. It's a great goal to have. But I'll be much more likely to actually get there and be able to put in the steps to make it happen if it's tied to some sort of measurable goal. Like in that example, if I want to be able to, be a voice actor in a AAA video game production or something, maybe I need to take a look at getting a certain number of followers. Maybe I need to send out a certain number of marketing emails. Maybe I need to have a certain number of days where I'm doing repetitive exercises to make myself a more controlled, more mature voice actor. And maybe I need to put in a certain number of auditions, send emails to a certain number of different agencies, and continue to do that kind of work until I start opening the doors to get me to where I want to be. So you can use numbers to your advantage to help you find out how to move towards things that you want to do, as well as have a sense for how close or far away you are from getting that thing that you want to do. Now, I've spent a lot of time in this video talking about the importance of money, social proof analytics, and whatnot. But one thing I would really like to go back to is that, as important as the numbers are, there are ultimately a couple places where I think the numbers shouldn't really matter that much. And this comes up in two very important respects: how much you love the thing that you're doing, and how much you love yourself. So, loving what you're doing first off. If you're going to find long-lasting success in any endeavor that you're doing, you cannot hate the process. You have to enjoy it to some degree. Now, I've seen plenty of people who are willing to, eat a lot of crap and put themselves through a lot of stuff that they don't want to do in order to achieve their financial goals, in order to achieve their life goals. But if what your life is just working through crap, you're going to burn out and feel pretty miserable after a while. On the flip side, if you're doing something you love, then yes, you absolutely want to be able to hold on to that love despite any sort of victories or challenges that come your way. I've talked before about being process-oriented and learning to fall in love with the work of whatever it is that you're doing. And oftentimes, these numbers can be a real distraction from that, either because we get frustrated that maybe we're not making as much money as we'd like or not getting the kind of numbers putting up that we want, or sometimes maybe we're getting a lot of success, making a lot of money, getting a lot of views on YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and whatnot. But then we fall so in love with those big numbers that we start to lose track of why we love doing things in the first place. So once again, numbers should not dictate how much you love the thing that you're doing. And lastly, numbers shouldn't bear weight on how much you actually love yourself. There really isn't any amount of money, followers, social status, or worldly success that you can accomplish to put yourself in a place where you love yourself more than if you didn't have those things. Now, I'm certainly not the largest and most successful in really anything that I've tried to do up until this point, but I have had enough wins and progressions and times where I actually accomplished the goals that I set out to do to realize that, as cool as it is, most of the times when I wake up the next day, I basically feel the same way about myself as I did before. And it was certainly cool to reach the point of my voiceover career where I was doing VO full time, and I made more money in a month of VO than I did in an average month working at my previous job. That was awesome. But it didn't give me a lasting sense of me being a better person or feeling differently about myself. And at the end of the day, your love for yourself can't be dependent on your accomplishments or how other people perceive you to be. Otherwise, you're always going to be running for something. Either you're desperately running to chase something or desperately trying to get away from something. And that's just not a great way to live. So yes, numbers have value. Numbers are a useful tool. Numbers can be leveraged to get things that you want to happen and grow what you're already doing. But at the end of the day, you do have to love what you do, and you gotta love yourself. And you can't let numbers distract you from any of those things. All right, that's the video for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to be back at my desk producing content like I like to, in a more structured way after having a couple weeks where I was traveling and dealing with other life craziness. So if you enjoyed the video, as always, appreciate if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, not because I need your validation, but because, as I mentioned before, the numbers do indeed help me to move along and continue to grow this operation and produce more great work for you guys. So once again, always appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you next time.